could turn out to be the single most important thing your children learn at school, yet most of us don't even know what it is.
Yeah, it's coding, and to help us is 14-year-old Michael Nixon and our tech expert Trevor Long. Trevor, good morning to you. Good morning, mate. Thank you for coming along.
Morning.
First things first, what is coding?
Think of it like when we were at school, when I was at school, we learned Italian and French. This is a language. It's a language that powers devices, it powers apps, it powers machines, and it's the future. And that's why kids need to understand it and begin to learn it at school.
Okay, now Michael, you have created an education kit to basically help us all understand coding. How did this come about?
Well, it came about as a result of my own frustrations when I was first learning to code. I figured out that there wasn't a lot of resources or kits available for kids to learn about coding, and because it's so important, I wanted to make it fun, accessible and affordable for kids. So I created the Amazing Annoyatron, which is basically a way to make things fun. So instead of kids making traditional projects like, a boring app or an LED that just blinks, they use coding and some electronics to make pranks to annoy their friends and family.
I want to find out more about that in just a moment. But Trevor, so this is something that is becoming a big deal for people, right? When you're at school, when I was at school, it wasn't something we didn't even know what it was. But if you're getting into that game these days, into IT or anything in that tech development arena, you must know this stuff.
And it's not just those arenas. I think the challenge here is that all jobs in the future will have some impact from coding. And, we're interacting with apps, we're interacting with machines that use coding. And so kids at very least need to understand the basics of code. And it sounds ridiculous, but it's essential blocks. It's language that says, if this happens, then do that. If this happens, then do that. And kids need to understand how those things interact with each other, how those lines of code, how those challenges interact and perform an outcome. And that's the cool thing here, is you're building something that annoys your friends. So that's the outcome. You get to build it yourself.
Michael, I guess also it's important for we as adults and as parents to get our heads around this as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and this is certainly a fun way to do it. I think that coding can be something that's seen by everyone, I guess, that doesn't really know about it as intimidating or scary. And what I'm trying to do is break down that barrier and make it seen as something that can be great fun for the whole family, and to try and make it something that people want to do rather than they're forced to do by the curriculum like any other subject.
I want to know more about the Amazing Annoyatron, because there'd be some parents thinking, hang on, that's the last thing I want at home, but let's sell it. Just explain how it works, what you can do with it, and why mums and dads should allow the kids to buy it.
Yeah, well, there's 3 basic steps, and it goes a little bit like this. Build, code, prank. So first of all, you put together the electronic parts, you learn a bit about electronics, you then code it, and then you go and cause some minor chaos. But the great bit about that is it's not too annoying. It's things like an electronic cricket where it makes a cricket noise that you've got to go out as a parent and find. And it's a really great opportunity for their parents when they're being pranked to go and support their kids in their code learning and to say, well, how can we make this better? How can we change this? And it's, I think, a great opportunity for parents to interact and support with their kids through their code learning journey.
That's my next question, Michael. What plans have you got in terms of jobs and career?
Well, I think that in terms of looking to the future, I'd really like to continue making technology exciting for kids. I think that is something that I'm very passionate about, seeing as I started learning about this from a young age. So I think it's something that I'd like to continue.
And how do we get hold of this?
Well, I've got a website, which is edukits.co. It's spelled a bit weirdly. It's edukits.co.
Yep. And
that's where you can buy the kit or learn more about my story. It's also got links to all the Facebook and Instagram. So
I want to buy shares in this young man here, because I've got a feeling your stocks are going to rise. Thank you so much for coming along, and Trevor, thank you.
That's right, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, lovely to meet you. Thank you.